Shout out to Phil Jackson for keeping it all the way real. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about NBA Hall of Fame basketball coach Phil Jackson trashing the NBA due to their woke policies over the past few years, especially during the 2020 postseason 19 bubble season down in Orlando, Florida. Now, if you recall, this time was a mess. When they came back from the lockdown in July of that year, after being stopped in March, they were like, hey, if we're going to come back, we're going to risk our lives on our freedom. We got to have some incentive. And what they did, they put Black Lives Matter on the basketball court in big, humongous print. You couldn't miss it. There were no fans in the stands, only coaches and players. And then they were allowed to have Black Lives Matter jerseys and these little slogans on the back. Say their name, end racism, equality, all this, that, and the third. It was a whole big mess. A lot of guys were permanently turned off from the game as a result of this. Then you had guys like Chris Webber doing color commentary, lobbing humdingers of zingers on the air, talking about, well,
it's a beautiful shot, and the Lakers are up. But when you're a black man in this country, you can't compartmentalize. You must compartmentalize to stay sane.
And a lot of guys like Phil Jackson do not watch the game anymore. Now, what I'm going to do right now is play Phil Jackson's remarks. This is on the podcast with Rick Rubin. If you want to hear this podcast or this clip in full, I will link to it in the box. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. After we hear this, we're going to hear from another former NBA player, Jalen Rose. He is upset at what Phil Jackson said. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Do you still watch a lot of basketball or
no? I don't.
Tell me about that. When and did you stop immediately from the time you stopped coaching?
No, I didn't. I watched some of the game evolve and decided, and they went into the lockout year and they did something that was kind of wanky. They did a bubble down in Orlando, and all the teams that could qualify went down there and stayed down there.
No audience.
And they had things on their back like, justice. And I made a little funny thing like, Justice just went to the basket and equal opportunity just knocked him down. And somebody had another name for a guy who has jersey in the back of a jersey, had some other slogan. So my grandkids thought that was pretty funny.
Let's pause right here. Now, what he's saying so far is right on point. It's right on point. The whole thing with the jerseys was so cringe, but you see, people are going to be mad because this was a thing that the players, not all the players, but a lot of the players wanted this because this is right during George Floyd, Jacob Blake, you got C-19 going on, you got the re-election of Donald Trump and all that kind of stuff going on. So it was a whole lot happening, and a lot of guys wanted these things in the back of their jerseys. But ultimately, when you see the finished product, it was cringe at best. Let's continue.
To play up those names. So I couldn't watch that. And the Lakers won, actually. They won that year. And
do you feel like it?
Now, remember, Phil Jackson coached the Chicago Bulls, obviously, during the Scottie and Mike days, but then he went on to coach the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. And his former team, the Lakers, won. And I think that he is dating or married to or something like that, Jeannie Buss, who is the daughter of the owner of the Lakers. If that's wrong, please correct me in the comments below. But the point is, he has a very close tie to the Lakers and didn't even watch his own team to in a sense, win the championship that year with LeBron.
Just made little of the game, like it made it like a sideshow. What do you think it was that turned you off?
Well, it was. They even had slogans on the floor.
Yeah,
on the baseline. It was catering. It was trying to cater to an audience or
pandering. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's 100% facts.
Trying to bring a certain audience into play. And they didn't know it was turning other people off, People want to see sports as non-political.
Yes.
We've had a lot of different type of players that have gone on to be like, Bill Bradley was a senator, number of baseball players been representatives and senators and political, but their politics stay out of the game.
Yeah, it's separate.
Doesn't need to be there.
Very well said. Very, very well said. I mean, when I'm watching the basketball game, I'm not trying to have all the political stuff shoved in my face. Can I enjoy the game? It was bad enough for them to not have a crowd at all. It was like watching an exhibition or like a glorified practice or a scrimmage or something like that. It wasn't really a game. You see, part of the fun, the excitement behind the basketball game is seeing the crowd's reaction and hearing them and just being involved with it, especially live sports. When you go in person, watching it on TV, you get some of it, but there's nothing like being at a live basketball game or a football game, even a baseball game, and really enjoying it. Soccer as well. It's nothing like actually being there. So no fans in the audience was a whole big mess. Now, here comes Jalen Rose. Now, if you guys don't know who he is, he played for Michigan back in the day, part of the Fab Five. He also played for quite a few NBA teams, probably best known for beating on the Pacers. Now he's on ESPN, and he has quite a few woke points. You know how ESPN is. So let's see what he says.
You can't make this up. Hall of Fame coach and 11-time champion Phil Jackson claims to have stopped supporting the NBA because it became too political when it went into the bubble and was catering to certain audiences by putting slogans on the back of jerseys and Black Lives Matter on the floor.
I mean, I don't see the lie so far.
The same Phil Jackson that won championships with some of the greatest black athletes in the history of the game.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant.
I'm having a hard time seeing where you're going with this, though.
Made millions on their backs and off their sweat equity. You're sitting up watching the game with your grandkids, and y'all think it's funny when justice passes the ball to equal opportunity?
I do. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I think it was cringe. Yeah. And I've not made $1 from NBA basketball. I've not played NBA basketball. I've not coached NBA basketball. I didn't give y'all money by going to live games and watching it on television and buying jerseys and shoes and everything else. I've not made $1 from them, but I still feel the same way he feels. So do a lot of other people around the world, not just Americans.
When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So stop watching forever. You can't.
Really, Jalen? Is that what we're going to say? Stop watching forever. You going to take your ball and go home? Is that what we doing, Jalen? Come on, man. That was, how you say boss move or soft move? That was a soft move right there. Going outside like that over Phil Jackson. I mean, good grief. Come on. What Phil Jackson said was right. It doesn't matter what color he is. He could be white, black, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. It don't really matter. And he played in the NBA too back in the day. So let's not act like he's just some guy that never played the game and doesn't know anything. Feels like a good 6'10", 6'11" himself. He's a former basketball player. So don't act like that, Jalen, okay? And what if you have a black player that says that? What you going to call them? Then the goalpost moves rather than you just talking about, oh, well, when somebody shows you who they are, you got to believe him. What is he, though? What you want to call him the R word? Is that what you want to say? You want to call him a racist, talking about you make money off the black players' backs? What does being black got to do with it? So you invoking the race thing that implies you want to call him a racist. So what if a black basketball, what if Shaq says it? Then what you going to call him? You going to call him something else? Again, you're moving the goalposts. This was a dumb reaction from Jalen, in my opinion. And for some reason, I'm blocked on Jalen Rose's Twitter account. I was able to see this because somebody else reposted it. But when I go to his account, I'm blocked. I don't even know what happened. I don't know what I did. So I guess I'll stay blocked after this video. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Phil Jackson and Jalen Rose for giving their 2 cents. Y'all know who I agree with. I want to know who you guys agree with. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here? How do you feel about what Phil Jackson said? Was he right, wrong, off point, on point? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. How you feel about what Jalen Rose said? Did he have a point? Did he not have a point? You guys know where I'm at. I think what Phil Jackson said was right on point. He didn't lie. Some people might have liked that. He might have been able to pander to some people that probably don't watch sports. Maybe they give it a couple of sympathy watches. And then after they don't understand what's going on, they don't know what traveling means. They don't know what 3 in the key. They don't know what these rules mean. They're going to stop watching and go right back to LA Housewives or whatever they're watching before that. They're not going to really keep their eyes on the game, okay? Or they might go on their cell phone and play a video game. They're not going to watch NBA basketball. So I'm not sure who you're catering to. I think you're probably catering to the players on the field and not those that are actually watching it. The same way you had no audience, which is not catering to those that want to watch the game. It was kind of dry. It was ridiculous. It was not good. They may as well just cancel the whole season and then brought it back when they can have, a full season with players actually out there playing the game. The whole thing was ridiculous. The C-19 lockdown was a mess, and them bringing the season back to the bubble was even bigger mess, in my humble opinion. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.